Yo, what's going on? Mike from Mike Talk Sports. After being out of the NBA for the past 2 seasons, Dante Exum signed with the Dallas Mavericks this offseason in a very low-key offseason signing, and he's been absolutely phenomenal, and he just dropped 26 points on 7 from 9 from 3 versus the Lakers. He really is playing the best basketball of his entire career. So in today's episode of Mike Talk Sports, I'm going to be diving into Dante Exum, how he revived his NBA career, how good he's been this season, and how did we even get to this point? This season, Dante is putting up 7 points per game on 53% from the field and 40% from 3, 2.4 assists per game, and 2.8 rebounds per game in 15 minutes per game. But lately, due to some Mavericks injuries, he's been playing around 30 minutes per game, and in this 3 or 4 game stretch, he's putting up over 15 points per game. Not only has Dante been phenomenal with Luka Doncic out on the court, but he's been great as a standalone player as well. The Mavericks are currently 15 points per 100 possessions better than their opponents with Dante Exum on the court and without Kyrie or Luka. The Mavericks are also averaging more assists per 100 possessions with Dante out on the court, and of course the defense has always been such a strong suit for Dante Exum, really is not the reason why he failed in the NBA prior to this season, and the defense per 100 possessions is giving up around 6 less points. So the analytics this season clearly love Dante Exum, and at the end of the video, I will be breaking down from a technical eye test perspective why Dante Exum is so much better this season than he ever has been in his entire career. But for now, how did we even get to this point? So Dante was the 5th pick in the 2014 NBA draft by the Utah Jazz coming out of Australia, even though he never played college basketball in the United States. And one of the major red flags with Dante was the level of competition. In my opinion, this is a bit of revisionist history, as Dante was playing the best talent in the entire world leading up to the NBA draft. At 15 years old, he was the youngest Australian national team player of all time, and he was phenomenal in the under-17 and the under-19 FIBA championships, making the all-tournament team in both phases. He was balling out and even getting the better of top prospects such as Jabari Parker and Andrew Wiggins. So again, I do think he was a proven talent up against some of the best players in the entire world at his age group at the time. So why did Dante fail at the NBA level? Well, in my opinion, there are 2 significant reasons. And number 1, it's the injuries. Dante had an insane run of just bad luck with injuries. After playing every single game in his rookie season, starting about half of them, he ended up missing his entire sophomore season with a torn ACL, which was just such a big blow to Dante Exum's development, as most players see a big sophomore rise. And after this point, he was never healthy ever again. He had significant shoulder surgery in 2017. He had ankle issues in all of 2018. He tore his patellar tendon in 2019. He had a big calf injury in 2020. Then he injured his other calf in 2021. Then he was out of the NBA for 2 seasons, and that brings us to today. How about his rookie season though? As I said previously, he played all 82 games in his rookie season, and he was outright horrible on the offensive side of the ball, even though he was still very good defensively. So what's the second huge reason to why Dante Exum failed in the NBA? Obviously at his surface level, it was his offense, but why was his offense so bad at the beginning of his career? I think Dante Exum is a cautionary tale of why you should never play a young player out of position. Dante Exum was drafted as a point guard. He wanted to play point guard, and the Utah Jazz wanted him to play point guard, as some of his draft comps were that of Penny Hardaway and even Michael Carter-Williams. As he was a taller guard at about 6'6". Here's the issue with this, guys. Dante Exum, for the vast majority of his career leading up to the NBA, was actually a shooting guard. The vast majority of his tournament highlights that I found from the FIBA World Championships. And when you look at every single pre-draft NBA scouting report talking about Dante Exum, they list him as a shooting guard. Make no mistake about it, Dante Exum was a shooting guard his entire life, so he never developed the skills necessary prior to the NBA to play the point guard position. It's one of the toughest learning curves out of any position in all of sports, and in my opinion, point guard is the toughest position to to transition to as you're given the keys to an offense. And if you've never developed those skills, boy, are you going to struggle playing point guard at the NBA level. He more or less was like Jeremy Shohan out there trying to play point guard even though that was not his position. So how bad was he actually in his rookie season offensively? He shot 35% from the field, which is obviously abysmal, 45% true shooting out of every single player in the NBA at that time to play over 20 minutes per game. This was the lowest true shooting percentage in the entire league. So from a scoring perspective, Dante Exum was arguably the worst in 2014. Not only this, but a bigger issue was the facilitating in the point guard duties. Dante Exum in his rookie season had a 21.5% turnover rate, so around 1 in every 5 Dante Exum possessions in his rookie season ended up in a turnover. Dante was such a young guy, and he was yet to develop the overall vision and passing necessary to be an NBA level point guard. The main reason to why Dante Exum was moved to point guard instead of playing shooting guard at his natural position is because he was yet to develop a good outside shot, and one of his biggest strengths coming into the NBA was being a slasher, but this really just did not translate at the NBA level, as only 53% of his shots from two-point range in his rookie season were around the rim, so he really lacked the tenacity at the NBA level and the overall mindset in order to be that really aggressive point guard and facilitator. But here was the saving grace of Dante Exum's career into why the Jazz stuck along so long with Dante Exum and even gave him a pretty nice 3-year contract extension after his rookie deal. It was the defense. In the rookie year of Dante Exum, the Jazz had the #1 defensive rating when Dante Exum was out on the court. He was such a good defender. That 6'6" frame with that 6'9" wingspan was just so damn disruptive on the perimeter, and he really did have the lateral quickness necessary and the overall basketball IQ to be an elite defender in year 1. All of that is irrelevant now. It's 2023, and some players' growth in overall development looks very different compared to most players. Look at somebody like Kyle Lowry, for example, who hit his prime in his late 20s. That's exactly what's happening to Dante Exum. First and foremost, he's playing more off-ball than he ever has in his entire career, as Luka Doncic is one of the best facilitators in the entire NBA, which really brings the pressure off of Dante Exum, and Dante as an off-ball player has never been proven until this season. He's such a good off-ball mover. As you guys can see in some of these videos, he's constantly moving around ball screens in order to find that open three, but more importantly, he's consistently making cuts to the basket to get easy open layups. But also as a point guard and a facilitator, he is so significantly improved. His passing ability is so good this season. His overall length and vision really allows him to make any pass on the court, which is a big reason to why he was so hyped up coming into the NBA draft. And this passing ability really is finally coming to fruition. But the biggest reason to why Dante is really reviving his NBA career, especially offensively, because again, defensively, he's great this season, and he's always been great. It's always been an offensive question and a health question with Dante, and it really is that three-point shooting ability. Compare a three-point shot to his rookie season, and now his release is completely different, and that new release and the amount of effort and time he spent in the gym grinding on that three-point shot has really come to fruition. He's shooting over 40% from three this season, which is honestly an incredible mark and something no one ever thought Dante would ever get to. As a 3-and-D specialist and a good facilitator and an overall good point guard now, Dante has proven to be one of the most important role players in the entire NBA. Thanks for watching today's episode of Mike Talk Sports. Let me know in the comment section below, what are your thoughts on the revival of Dante Exum's career? If you enjoyed today's video, smack that like and hit subscribe.